I've even come to you personally about how to deal with certain stuff. And even I remember after Japan, you were one of the first people to call me, and like, man, that goes a long way. That goes forever. You know, just because I made a huge error, but it wasn't a reflection of my character, who I actually was. And getting that call from you meant so much. And even recently with the Game Boy resin table I made, and I was getting hate online for it. And I go, Gary, what do I do here? Like, how do you handle this? And your response was like, empathy for those who feel the need to tear down other people's art. Like, what's happening in your life that you're so hurt that you feel the need to just rip?
What's so I'm sitting here almost like in a meta situation where I'm like, man, this show, this platform, the enormous amount of attention look, I gravitate towards youth culture. I love that person is so still in the game. You know, I love hanging out with OGs. My team knows, like, I love 70-year-olds. D-Rock is literally actively in the process of booking interviews of 90-year-olds for content that I want to do.
Who do you go to for that? Like
we're randomly meeting people. Like, we were at this breakfast the other day, and he's like, my grandpa's 90. And I'm like, D-Rock, you're going to Rhode Island. Like, really? So I'm very passionate and fascinated by different genres, but the youth culture is insane. And as you're talking, I'm like, this is fucking it, man. This is the beginning pieces. We're starting to change this. We're starting to have, there was nobody 3 years ago saying, oh, I got haters, let me have compassion for them. Mm-hmm. Not even 6 months ago. But I pounded it. And it's just truth. Just think about the concept of needing to hurt someone else just to give you a second of escapism from your own pain. Just think about it. I just don't know how not to feel that for others. And, you know, I think that we need to have that combo, because for the people that are creating and are making entertainment, escapism, information, you know, it's really hard to get that level of hate. It's hard, no matter how strong you are. No matter, I'm very similar. Like, the whole world always told me I was going to lose, except for my mom. Thus, I'm like, good. You know, like, nothing phases me.
I just know who I am. When I go to bed, I'm really proud of who I am. So,
yeah, I totally
get
that.
I don't really care, because they don't walk with me. They don't know my journey. I was talking to this kid. I'm not going to name who he is, because he's coming up in the social media realm. And he told me, he goes, bro, it's very hard for me to figure out who's in my life because they want to be here versus what they need from me. And he goes, and it's starting to get really uncomfortable when it comes to women. He goes, like, I feel so insecure all the time.
Yep.
And he goes, how do you walk into these rooms and change people's, like, minds, opinions, hearts? And I said, I've been in this game for a little bit. Like, I'm a baby in it. And I just learned now, when I walk in the room, the goal is not to turn everybody's heart. It's to make sure mine doesn't change. So when I walk into this room, I want to set an example by just no talking, just my actions. Yep. For people to call me and ask me about that stuff. So it's a really, really tough game in every genre that you're in. And I think the best thing you could do is really, really love yourself. Start with loving yourself and loving your family. And then after that, you're going to be able to love other people.
And for everybody who's listening, because I've said that so many times, and I've read all the DMs and emails and messages for the last almost 20 years now, a lot of people just now, as you were perfectly saying that, said, but I don't love myself. And this is a very important thing for everybody to hear. This is something I spend a lot of time thinking about. If you are listening or watching right now, actually saying, I don't love myself, you have to remember that somebody else put that inside of you. Your mom or dad, most likely, or maybe a grandparent, they put that inside of you because they didn't love themselves. And, you know, a lot of people get mad at their folks, and I try to remind them, your grandparents made your parents. Like, there's always that next person in the family tree. And so I think that we're starting to get into more interesting, while everyone's like, social media sucks in the world, I'm actually watching and I'm like, I don't know. I think shit's getting a little bit interesting.
We talked about this last week about the benefits versus the shortcut. This dog is out of fucking
By the way, the
control.
dog is doing great.
No, he's chewing the wires. The benefits versus the shortcomings of social media, and if it's a net positive or net negative. But I wanted to ask you this. Do you think there's more benefit to an individual who's facing criticism, finding a way to be empathetic with the criticizers, be empathetic with the haters, or their ability to put on the blinders that every CEO
Number one.
really?
Yeah.
Because my question to you is this:
Because
like,
that's scalable.
empathy
the
for other people.
Yeah. The other one is holding your breath and you're going to give.
You really think so? Because I
sure
think
do.
there's a lot of people out there like who are able to just be like, dude, like your criticism is so worthless and it's so uninformed and uneducated. Like that's where I've tried to get myself.
I get it. By the way, there's a lot of there's you know how it is, right? Like it's like everything in our society, red, blue, black, white. It's there's moments in time where that works. I mean, I do it all. Like I'm thrilled to be like, if you actually knew what was running through my mind sometimes when I'm getting shit on, I'm like, man, if you're mad at me now, watch what the fuck I'm gonna put down your throat the next decade, you motherfucker. Like, you know, like I can get very competitive that way too, there's no question that actually being like, man, this person's hurt.
But then acting upon it as well and be like, yo, listen, like,
so
I know you told me that
Yeah.
I'm too busy sucking a cock right now, like, and you're 12. Like, but I feel like you're going through some shit. Let's talk about it. Because bro, like, I'm in the middle of shooting content here. Now I got to talk to this 12-year-old from Iowa about why he thinks I suck too much cock, which I don't suck cock, Gary. Like, do you know what I'm getting at right now?
I get it, so, brother. I get it so much. The amount of cock I've sucked
you know
on
what I'm
DM
saying?
is profound.
Like, where does the empathy end? It was the same thing with him in the fucking Game Boy table. I'm like, dude, like, you're gonna sit there and be like, listen, man, I know I heard about your sister and how she has, you know, early onset dementia. Like, how do you start to do that?
Easy. You add another element to the equation and you think about the concept of gratitude. You have to understand, you can actually completely, this has happened to me at nauseam. This happened the other day in the car. A guy fucking ripped me heavy. I gave a response. He DM'd me. He's like, I just got back from Afghanistan. I have real PTSD. Like, it was a real, he's like, you don't understand. He ended with something that I don't even want to, like, it's really fucking intense out here. And so what I would say is, as a fellow human being, one that, by the way, is fucking doing it. You're fucking doing it, right? Like, I promise you, 19-year-old you, looking at what you've been doing the last 7 or 8 years, is fucking happy.
He's surprised, man. He's like, damn, you made it past 26. Holy shit.
So 3 minutes a day, 9 minutes a week, 16 minutes a month. Do I think that you can decide to reply to 3 people, one of which that will completely change the framework of how they see the world? Because these kids out here think the world sucks and everything sucks and nobody gives a fuck. And you give one fuck one time. And by the way, I'm telling you, and I know he knows, I know, like, I'm telling you, it will fucking build, it will be beneficial for you.
No.